the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a pro. Let's go, let's go. Let's go. If I go, I'ma get. When I flow, I'ma hit. And I know I'm the kid. I'm a soul, don't forget. I'ma blow up with it. Got my flow so vivid. Here we go, just beginning. Yeah, I throw every inning. Got my flow so legit. All I know is my shit. Here I go, they can whip. Post Malone in this bitch. Rockstar making hits. Got guitar in this shit. Leaving scars cause we lit. All these bars that I spit. Yeah. Let's go, let's go! Let's go! If I know what I want, then I know what I get.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the best prediction and preview show you're going to find anywhere on the internet. Welcome to the Angle Podcast prediction and preview show for WWE FastLane 2021, an event that quite possibly might be the biggest event of the year thus far because there's so many things that after tonight, so many questions that we have after tonight, we will have the answers to going into WrestleMania 37, which is just shy of 3 to 4 weeks away. Raymond James Stadium. First time in over a year, WWE will finally have fans in some sort of capacity live in a WWE arena. Raymond James Stadium, WrestleMania 37. Welcome, like I said, to the Angle prediction and preview show for Fastlane. I am your host, Joey Karni, and it is on this show that we're going to be going over all the matches, all the rumors, all the speculation that is surrounding WWE, more importantly, Fastlane 2021. As you can see behind me, there is a road sign. We are on the road to WrestleMania, and there's so much to look forward to, and we might as well just jump into all the matches here for tonight. But before we do that, I want to thank everybody who's watching right now, who's in the chat. I see Leonardo's in there. Everybody who's engaging, who's going to be on this show, because I want to read all your comments and what you think is going to happen. So we might as well jump into it. If you haven't already, like and subscribe down below, the Angle Podcast on YouTube. A lot of great stuff happening. Looking forward to in the future. So let's jump into WWE FastLane 2021, a match that I'm so excited to see. And by the way, a stacked card, might I add, because every match on the card, I'm looking at all the matches right now, every match has potential to be a main event match. And the match that I want to specifically start out with is the United States Championship match, which was just announced this past Friday after SmackDown. And that is the United States Champion Matt Riddle defending his title against Mustafa Ali. A match that we saw take place on Monday Night Raw. Honestly, in my opinion, it didn't live up to the potential that it has. This could be a Monday Night Raw main event match. And in this case, it could be the show opener and set the tone for the entire pay-per-view tonight. That is WWE FastLane 2021. Now, Matt Riddle has been on a very, very hot streak, a lot of momentum in his favor over the last few weeks after becoming the United States Champion at Elimination Chamber. A lot of people didn't think that this would be his situation at this point in time, especially going to WrestleMania, because he was literally getting just destroyed by Bobby Lashley every week. He got destroyed by Keith Lee. There was supposedly some backstage heat with him, whatever, and it just didn't look like things would be working out in his favor. Fast forward to Fastlane, no pun intended there. He is the current United States Champion, doing an excellent job every week on Monday Night Raw, just putting on phenomenal matches, but also very comedic backstage segments. This past Monday, we saw him with this scooter. He's calling it Stallion. if that's a new gimmick is going to work. It made me want to go get a Razor scooter. A lot of good things to look forward to with Riddle. Now, on the other hand, we have Mustafa Ali, really coming out of his shell, doing some phenomenal work on the mic, on vignette videos on social media, but also really putting on some great matches in the ring. It's a shame what they're doing, in my opinion, what they're doing with Retribution. This group can be the focal point of Monday Night Raw if they allow them to, if they book them properly. This group has the potential. I don't like to compare and contrast, but I like to just use different examples to kind of show you like what it could be. And a great example of what Retribution can be is what Nexus was, and that was basically a group that takes over the whole entire company, all of WWE, and could be a main event caliber and really put Mustafa Ali in a main event spot, which he was slated to do in 2019 before he got injured, and that's where Kofi Mania came about. So if they were thinking about, if that was the plan to put him in the main event, I mean, what's stopping them now? He's only gotten better. He's only gotten just stronger. And in my opinion, everything about him, including his promo skills, just everything says main event player. So the United States title match tonight, Riddle going up against Mustafa Ali. Who do I want to win? I want to see Mustafa Ali win. I think that he'd be a great United States champion. Walking into WrestleMania, I think that this is exactly what we would need to put on a great United States title match at WrestleMania. And also, not anything to knock him, but because he is a smaller built guy, he has the ability to grab the attention of everyone. So being a heel, being a smaller sized guy, holding a title, grabbing the attention of everybody is a very great. I think it's a significant thing for a heel to do. So in this case, I would love to see Mustafa Ali become the United States champion tonight. But if we know anything about WWE booking, we're just going to see another successful United States title match with Riddle retaining his United States championship. So in this case, I have to predict that Riddle will successfully defend his United States championship tonight against Mustafa Ali. Now, like I said, I want to see Mustafa Ali win. I think that this would be a great opportunity for him to really shine and really get him to the next level, and also Retribution. Now, there has been some teases here and there over the last few months, really, of WWE kind of breaking up Retribution just because they're losing all their matches and this, that, the other thing. And in my opinion, they become stale, and they become stale in very quick fashion. I think that if you were to, and I say this all the time on Twitter when they're on TV, the whole idea about Retribution was these guys and girls were basically products of the system that just denied them. Denied them their original characters, and they came back as these other characters to kind of fit in. So it kind of contradicts itself. I would love to see, instead of being T-Bar, I want to see Dominik Dijakovic, or even how WWE changes their names after NXT. Call him Dijakovic, and just let him have the same appearance but a more aggressive attitude. Same thing with Mia Yim. Let her be Mia Yim, but instead of reckoning, let her bring the reckoning. Let her be an aggressive version of Mia Yim. This is just a matter of turning everybody face and heel, or heel face. I don't think you need to create these new characters, T-Bar and Reckoning and Flapjack and Mace and all this nonsense that if you were to tell people, who's your favorite wrestler, and someone says T-Bar, you're like thinking like, what are you watching, like some comic book show? Like, no, this is WWE, this is professional wrestling. These guys and girls are very great at what they do. They deserve the respect, and I think that calling them by their real names, but more with an aggressive direction, I think that it could work very well. I see James Wolf is here in the chat. Leonardo's in the chat as well. Welcome. And if you're just tuning in, this is the Angle Podcast prediction and preview show for WWE FastLane 2021 that is going down on the WWE Network. And by the way, the first pay-per-view to happen on Peacock, all happening tonight, later on in just a few hours. So what we just talked about is the United States Championship match that is Riddle defending his title against Mustafa Ali, and I am predicting that we are going to get a Riddle win here. Riddle successfully defending his United States title. Now, also another match that was announced on Friday after Friday Night SmackDown, which we saw kind of come about a few weeks ago with a backstage run-in, and then on Friday Night SmackDown, really just putting it into motion, being announced for Fastlane. That is Shinsuke Nakamura going one-on-one with the Messiah, the Friday Night Savior, Seth Rollins. But from what I said on Friday, I will now refer to him as Suit Daddy Seth. So we have Shinsuke versus Suit Daddy Seth happening tonight at Fastlane. This match I'm surprised it hasn't happened before, honestly. This match has the potential to be a main event match for a title and or just what it is tonight at Fastlane on any Raw or SmackDown or pay-per-view. And even WrestleMania, but I think we know where they're going with WrestleMania with Seth. That's obviously going to be leading to a Seth versus Cesaro match. But tonight we're getting Shinsuke Nakamura, who is the good friend, ex-partner of Cesaro, going one-on-one with Seth freaking Rollins. This match I'm looking forward to. It's going to be a fantastic match. Both guys, world championship material. But the only thing that kind of messes up this match for me is because we know what the outcome is going to be. If this is setting up for Cesaro versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, there's no way that Shinsuke is going to get the win tonight, unless Cesaro returns and costs Seth the match, which is kind of the way I was thinking. But we can also see Seth get a strong win over Shinsuke, leading to a Cesaro return. Regardless, we're getting Cesaro versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, by far one of the favorite WrestleMania matches going into this year, Raymond James Stadium. Now, it's kind of hard to predict who's going to be the winner in this match because I could see, like I said, Shinsuke getting some sort of roll-up win over Seth with Cesaro interference, or Seth getting a strong win over Shinsuke. If I'm thinking WWE booking, I'm going to say that I see Shinsuke Nakamura somehow getting a win over Seth Rollins in this match. I don't have a favorite in this match. I love both guys. I think they'd be great. I think either one winning would be great. But in this case, with the angle they're going with Cesaro, I think that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to get the win over Seth Rollins, Suit Daddy Seth, as I'm referring to him now after Friday Night SmackDown. This match may be the show stealer, and I'm really looking at all the matches on the card, and every match, like I said at the beginning, has the potential to be a show stealer match. Now, one in particular that I want to talk about is the first intergender match we're going to see on a WWE pay-per-view. Someone said since 2003, which was No Mercy, and that was Vince McMahon taking on his daughter, Stephanie McMahon. We have tonight the Viper, the Legend Killer, the leader of the RKO, Randy Orton, taking on Alexa Bliss. Now, we don't know for sure if this is an actual match because there was a challenge thrown out, but it wasn't necessarily announced that it would be a one-on-one match. We don't know if this might just be a backstage segment. We don't know. But this match in particular, I can honestly see it closing out the show. I wouldn't want to see it do that. I want to see it like somewhere towards the beginning, early, middle, possibly, on the card. Alexa Bliss going one-on-one with Randy Orton. I think we're going to see an RKO out of nowhere on Alexa Bliss. But more importantly, I think we're going to see the return of the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, who we have not seen since TLC when he was literally burned to ashes or burned to pieces by Randy Orton. Now, the question is, are we going to see the same Fiend that we saw before? I don't think so. I think we're going to see a more sadistic, a more horrifying or horrific, a more aggressive, a more brutal, whatever word you could possibly think of what along the words of what I'm saying now, I think we're going to see come about with the return of the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Do I think he's going to have the same look? No. I think we're going to see a more sadistic look to the Fiend, maybe a half-burned mask where it looks like it's like sludged over or something. I think we're going to see a different version of the Fiend come about tonight, and I think a lot of people are going to be scared of what they're about to see. Now, I would be surprised if the Fiend doesn't return tonight, and maybe he returns tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, which, would also help ratings for Monday Night Raw. So I could see it happen too. So don't bet on the Fiend returning tonight. Just yet. We may see Randy Orton set up Alexa Bliss for like an RKO or something, or maybe he's gonna attempt to light her on fire. Who knows? And then we see like a vignette playing, and then like it distracts Randy Orton, and then we see the Fiend for a split second or something, and then that's it, and it's over. And then he returns on Monday Night Raw. So there's a lot of different angles they can go with this match. And that's exactly it. I don't think it's going to be a full match. I don't think there's going to be a winner. Maybe we see like, I'd be surprised if Alexa Bliss, somehow gets the win over of Randy Orton. Like Randy Orton's in the ring, sets up for the RKO or something like that. Like I just said, and then all of a sudden the Fiend returns and puts a mandible claw on Orton, chokes him out, and then Alexa Bliss covers Orton for the win. We don't know. There's so many things, so many different ways they can go with this match. I'm excited for this match to happen tonight. This has been months in the making, honestly, this match. I'm surprised it didn't happen on Monday Night Raw before, but because it is FastLane and we're on the road, like you see behind me over here, the road to WrestleMania 37, we got to go out in a big, big way. Alexa Bliss taking on Randy Orton. So if that's the case, I see tonight Randy Orton getting a win. If he's going to bring out the Fiend, if he's going to bring back the Fiend somehow, some way, Alexa Bliss is begging to bring him back. Orton's the one that can do it. I think tonight he has to put Alexa down in order to bring the Fiend out, because what we've seen from the beginning of this feud is that Alexa Bliss is the Fiend's weakness. That's what we saw with Randy Orton. And we even saw it with Bray Wyatt when he was feuding, not Bray Wyatt, with Braun Strowman when he was feuding with Bray Wyatt last year. So we know that Alexa Bliss is the weakness of the Fiend. So Randy Orton knows exactly what's going to do. And I see Straight Talk Wrestling says, hello, how are you? Welcome everybody who's just tuning in now. This is the Angle Podcast prediction and preview show for WWE FastLane 2021. A stacked card from top to bottom. Every match could be main event material. I'm excited. We just went over Riddle versus Mustafa Ali. We went over Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins. We just finished going over Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. And now we're going to go over the Intercontinental Championship match that is going to happen tonight between the champion, Big E, and Apollo Crews. Now, this match, I'm excited for. I have no words because I did not expect this to happen. One, with the Intercontinental Championship, but two, I did not expect this to happen with Apollo Crews, where Apollo Crews is in the big talks that people are having about WWE today. This man came off a horrible run as United States champion on Monday Night Raw, getting beatily destroyed by the Hurt Business every week, having the same matches every week, and just disappeared, and then was traded or drafted to Friday Night SmackDown. Did nothing for a while. Now he's finally being used properly. He has revitalized, rejuvenated his character. And that is all thanks to two things. One, Paul Heyman, genius, future WWE Hall of Famer. I'm surprised he's not already in there. Two, Talking Smack, which is the best wrestling talk show that there is. It's better than Being the Elite. I don't care what anybody says. It's better than Raw Talk. It's better than any talk show that's related to pro wrestling. Talking Smack is the spot to be if you're trying to get yourself over. And Big E and Apollo have both done that. Big E going on there saying he wants to be Intercontinental Champion, coming back a few weeks later with the Intercontinental Championship. Same thing with Apollo Crews saying he wants to go out, be the best, be the next Intercontinental Champion. Not necessarily coming back as the Intercontinental Champion, but that may change this upcoming week, because tonight, the one-on-one match we've all been waiting for, Big E versus Apollo Crews. Big E finally getting aggressive, finally turning up the volume on his intensity. This guy is just both guys I think could be main event caliber superstars. But Big E is on a warpath right now. Big E is on his road to the top. Not necessarily only his road to WrestleMania, but he's on his road, like I said, to the top. It's kind of hard to predict who I think is going to win in this match because we've seen so much go down back and forth. It's kind of difficult to pick a winner. I can see, and I'm going to say it now, I think tonight we're going to see a new Intercontinental Champion. I think Apollo Crews is going to somehow get the job done, defeating Big E for the title. And this is going to go further into WrestleMania, where ultimately Big E may win that title again in front of fans. So we don't know what's going to happen going forward with the Intercontinental Championship and these two going into WrestleMania. But I think tonight, new Intercontinental Champion, Apollo Crews, there's just too much momentum behind him. He's just gotten the best of Big E too many times, and I think Big E is preparing for a different Apollo Crews. But now that Apollo is a new revitalized character, a new version of himself, I don't necessarily think that Big E knows exactly what's in store for him or how to prepare for this Apollo Crews. So there's a lot going into this match, a lot of implications for WrestleMania. But with that being said, like I said, I think Big E is going to lose the title tonight, and we're going to see a new Intercontinental Champion, and that is Apollo Crews. All in all, this match is going to be fantastic. And every match thus far, I think, is going to be a fantastic, fantastic match. The Women's Tag Team Championship match. I think the match that everybody is just kind of looking forward to as the intermission type of match. I don't want to discredit this match because we've seen a lot of storyline, I guess, build up over the last few weeks on both Raw and SmackDown with the women's tag team titles, specifically Bianca Belair and the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, although I don't like them as a tag team, they're doing an excellent job really going over to all three shows, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, bringing those titles anywhere they go. And as many people, give me 1 second, sorry. As many people don't like Nia Jax, sorry. As many people don't like Nia Jax, I think she's doing a phenomenal job as a heel, especially with her new boo, her new bae, Reginald, since Carmella fired him a few weeks ago on Friday Night SmackDown. So I think there's a lot of potential with Nia Jax, with Shayna Baszler, or on her own. If she goes on her own and, has Reggie, I think that we could see a great, great side to Nia Jax, a more comedic side, but also bringing the brutality in the ring. Shayna Baszler, by far, is one of the top female talent on Monday Night Raw. She can be the Raw Women's Champion if given the opportunity. I think, honestly, WWE's dropped the ball with her since they debuted her on Monday Night Raw. She came in biting the neck of Becky Lynch, and since then has just done what we're seeing her do now, and that is hold the Women's Tag Team title championship with Nia Jax. So I'm not sure what they're thinking of bringing. What was the intention of bringing her up for that one match before Becky got pregnant? But I would love to see Shayna Baszler versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. That is a huge WrestleMania main event match if they were to book it properly. As we've seen on Monday Night Raw this past week and previously, they're not going that route, with especially with Shayna Baszler. She was one of the longest reigning NXT Women's Champions of all time. She's one of the best NXT superstars of all time. And the same thing is happening with Asuka, where their runs on Monday Night Raw, even SmackDown for Asuka, are just not anything near what they were in NXT. Now, in regards to Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, Bianca Belair being the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Sasha Banks being the boss, the everything of WWE, the standard, the blueprint, the SmackDown Women's Champion. We're seeing more of a heel side from her lately. She's got that sadistic laugh, and you know what's funny? We're seeing her become the same person that Bayley was towards the end of their friendship or tag team. More cocky, more arrogant. Some can say or confident, but I think it's more cocky and arrogant, and really underestimating Bianca Belair. We thought that the last time these two were in a tag team, one would turn heel, and I think Everybody predicted that, and WWE Creative knew that, which is why they've been holding off. But tonight is the last stop to WrestleMania 37. We're at FastLane 2021, the main event women's championship match at WrestleMania. They are tagging together to go up for the women's tag team titles, and I think tonight is where we're going to see a heel turn. Now, I put a tweet out on Friday Night SmackDown. I didn't expect it to get as much traction as it did, and I kind of said who would be the one to turn heel, who would make it more interesting to turn heel going into this match at WrestleMania. A lot of people said, majority I think of people said Sasha Banks, but a lot more people than I expected said Bianca Belair. She is the underdog in this match. She was a heel in NXT, doing a great job at that. But I think Sasha Banks, I'm going to agree with a majority of the people in that tweet, Sasha Banks is the better heel. Sasha Banks is better as a heel. And I think tonight we're going to see Sasha Banks turn heel on Bianca Belair, costing them the Women's Tag Team Championship going into WrestleMania. And we finally have a one-on-one heel versus face, a traditional WrestleMania feud, really elevating the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's crazy because over the last few years, we've always seen the Raw Women's Championship elevated so high specifically at WrestleMania, and this year we're seeing it played out differently, with the SmackDown Women's Championship taking that spot, really creating a WrestleMania big fight feel. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, including the Royal Rumble winner, Bianca Belair. So tonight, we're going to see a heel turn from Sasha Banks on Bianca Belair, costing her the match, or costing them the match. And we're going to see and still Women's Tag Team Champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And I think from here, we're going to see a huge Women's Tag Team match at WrestleMania for the Women's Tag Team Championship. And that is going to be Nia. And this is going to be a fatal four-way, by the way. This is what I'm predicting. It's not actually... I'm manifesting it here because I would love to see this match. Fatal four-way match for the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania. In one corner, we have the champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. The other corner, we're going to have the team that's been dominating everybody and really getting involved in this feud, by the way, and that is Natalya and Tamina. In the other corner, we're going to see, we're going to see the Riot Squad. And in the fourth corner, we're probably going to see Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. But what if we saw the return of the Iconics? Billie Kay not really doing much. A lot of people wanting her to be the host of WrestleMania now that we have Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil going in as the hosts. A lot of people not happy with that, with specifically with Hulk Hogan. And a lot of people wanted Billie Kay. Even some said even Billie Kay and somebody else, like someone. You could do Billie Kay and Titus, or you could do Billie Kay and Bayley. You could do Billie Kay and Tom Brady, or something like that. All these crazy out there things. But what if we saw the return of the Iconics? Peyton Royce not doing anything on Monday Night Raw, cutting that huge, great shoot promo on Raw Talk and going nowhere with it. So what if we see the return of the Iconics, and they're the fourth team in that match? But I think at WrestleMania, we're going to see new women's tag team champions. It's going to be Natalya and Tamina. This team is probably one of the best teams that WWE has today in their women's tag team division. They are both legends in this business already, but they come from great family, wrestling families. So I think that putting them together would be an excellent addition to tag team wrestling in WWE. But from what we saw on SmackDown, they got involved and they just attacked everybody in the match. Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler. So I think that's where they're going with the women's tag team titles. But that's getting a little ahead of ourselves. We're on the road to WrestleMania. We're almost there, but this is the last stop. That's FastLane 2021. Tonight, I see Sasha Banks turning on her partner, her WrestleMania 37 opponent, the 2021 Royal Rumble winner, Bianca Belair. Turning on her, leading to Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler retaining their women's tag team titles. So if you're just tuning in, this is the Angle Podcast prediction and preview show for WWE FastLane 2021. I am your host, Joey Karni. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment down below if you agree with some of my predictions, comment down below if you disagree with my predictions, and comment down below who you think is going to win all the matches taking place at WWE FastLane 2021. Thus far, we have talked about the United States Championship match, Riddle versus Mustafa Ali. We talked about Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins, Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton, the Intercontinental Championship match between Big E and Apollo Crews, the Women's Tag Team Championship match between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. And now we're going to turn to one of the big main events of this card, a match we've seen plenty of times over the last few weeks, a feud that's been brewing for over 20 years, leading into a huge WrestleMania WWE Championship main event match. Drew McIntyre, the number one contender for the WWE Championship, who will be facing Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania 37 for that title, is facing his former best friend of 20 plus years, like I said, the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus. Before we go into this match, I'm surprised that this match has not been about, or hasn't had a stipulation added to this match where, for example, if Drew McIntyre wins at WrestleMania, it's Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. If Sheamus wins, it becomes a triple threat match at WrestleMania, which is the direction I wish and I think that they should go, because a one-on-one match with Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship has already happened in 2020. Bobby Lashley, I believe it was at Backlash, where Bobby Lashley went after Drew and was unsuccessful. But now the roles are reversed. Bobby Lashley is the WWE Champion, and as of right now, I think Bobby Lashley has more momentum behind him being the WWE Champion. And I think that this match really plays into keeping that building to WrestleMania, but keeping both guys relevant on the card. And that's why I think Sheamus should be involved in this match. There's no one who has had a better year or a year and a half. Sheamus coming back in 2020, just every match he's in is just fantastic. I don't, even if he loses, it's just a brawl and people love it. And he's been doing phenomenal things. And I think that, to have it pay off and have him in the main event for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, I think makes the match more interesting because there's no A or B answer as to who can win. 2, I think that he deserves it. Hello. Like, ding dong, hello. This guy deserves. He's been doing phenomenal things, like I just said, for the last 10 minutes. And 3, we don't really see any triple threat matches right now at WrestleMania. They're more one-on-one. So I think this match just brings more angst and unpredictability to the card. And it doesn't mean that Bobby Lashley has to get pinned to lose the WWE Championship. You can see, I think the plan right now, I don't know. It's a prediction show. I'm predicting. I think Drew McIntyre is going to walk out of WrestleMania 37, the new WWE Champion, just because they want him to have that moment in front of fans that he didn't get last year, which he very much deserved. But that was a year ago, and we're in 2021, and I think right now Bobby Lashley has more, more momentum and just more. I don't know. I think Bobby Lashley right now deserves to keep the WWE Championship on him. And I think if they're going to do a triple threat match at WrestleMania, you have Bobby Lashley pin Sheamus, and then you go to the one-on-one match with Drew and Bobby Lashley. And that's where you can have Drew win. But I don't think it has to happen at WrestleMania this year, because I would love to see the triple threat between the two. But I'm getting off topic again, which I normally do on these preview shows, because I like the long-term booking. I like to look forward. And as you can see behind me, and I keep referencing, we're on the road to WrestleMania 37. It's the last stop, WWE FastLane 2021. We're talking about Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. And tonight, I believe we're going to see Sheamus going to win. I think Sheamus needs to get a win tonight, and if that's the case, he very much will be added to make it a triple threat match. If Drew McIntyre wins tonight, this will be like his 3rd straight win over Sheamus, which doesn't do anything for anybody, really, just to keep Drew McIntyre relevant until WrestleMania. So that's why I think Sheamus needs to win and make himself added to the main event for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, creating Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley versus Sheamus, which should be the freaking match. Since we have no Keith Lee involved, but that's another topic for another day. A lot to look forward to tonight. This is a stacked card, and it's time to talk about the main event of the evening, and that is the WWE Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. This is not just a normal one-on-one match. This is not just a normal one-on-one championship match. This is a championship match with a special enforcer. And as you've already seen, this past Friday night on SmackDown, excuse me, we had a match, Jey Uso versus Edge, by far a fantastic match. Edge finally competing on SmackDown for the first time in over 10 years. Edge got the win over Jey Uso, which means Edge is the special enforcer for this match tonight at Fastlane. A lot of people not very happy with Daniel Bryan being involved with the Universal Championship. Honestly, I think those fans are out of touch. If you think that Daniel Bryan is not a top athlete, if you don't think he is a great asset to this storyline, you are very out of touch. And I don't care what the repercussions are for saying that. If you think that Daniel Bryan doesn't deserve this spot, after the year that he's done, after the year he's had, putting over so much talent, look back at WrestleMania 30. Yes-O-Mania. I mean, it was one of the best WrestleManias of all time. I don't know how you can say that he doesn't deserve this opportunity. This is a great way to, go, the last stop of before WrestleMania. This is the perfect match for Roman Reigns. And obviously Roman Reigns is going to win tonight. Like, come on. Like, he's going to the main event of WrestleMania. But to get against who is the question. This match is very predictable because we know who's going to win. It's obviously Roman Reigns. But I think adding Edge as a special enforcer is really being done to see if these guys mesh well in a triple threat setting, if you ask me. And I think that this is ultimately going to lead to a triple threat match for this title at WrestleMania. Now, if this match does become a triple threat match at WrestleMania, being Edge versus Roman versus Daniel Bryan, then we're going to see the WWE Championship match be Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, no Sheamus. It's, if you look at history, it's either one or the other. One's usually a triple threat, one's a one-on-one, vice versa. If I have to predict anything, I'm going to think that this match is going to become the triple threat for the Universal Championship. And here's the reason why I think it needs to. Because Roman versus Edge is very predictable. Roman is too strong right now. It would be very, very unrealistic if Edge were to win. Because of just how strong Roman is right now. So if you add Daniel Bryan, who is a great, great middleman for this scenario, Edge can beat Daniel Bryan for the title, or Roman Reigns can choke out Daniel Bryan, and Edge doesn't take a loss, and Roman doesn't take a loss. Now, of course, one-on-one, Edge versus Reigns, spear versus spear. You can use how Roman eliminated Edge from the 2020 Royal Rumble, being the last three in the ring, which they haven't used yet on TV, which is surprising to me. But hey, that's WWE creative for you. Tonight, we know that Roman's going to get the win. Now, imagine Daniel Bryan wins tonight and goes into WrestleMania as the Universal Champion. Then we get a triple threat match. So either way, I think we're going to a triple threat setting for WrestleMania. A lot of people saying, someone said to me yesterday on Twitter that this is Daniel Bryan's last match because there's some rumors going in that swirling around that he's going into the 2021 Hall of Fame. I don't necessarily know if that's true. I can't see tonight being his last match and going into the Hall of Fame that quick. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. What I do see, though, is that they are combining the 2020 and 2021 class Hall of Fame classes this year for a special on April 6th on Peacock for the WWE Hall of Fame. And Brie Bella and Nikki Bella, the Bella twins, are going into the Hall of Fame from the 2020 class. So maybe that picture they saw from the WWE Network, you also have to think too, WWE Network is currently switching over to Peacock, so there could be some glitches or whatnot. And also, like I just said, Brie Bella and Nikki are going into the Hall of Fame, and their names are really attached to Daniel Bryan, hence being married to Brie. Maybe there was just some sort of mix-up somewhere. I don't believe he's going to the Hall of Fame this year. This being his last match, it doesn't make any sense to me with this build-up for WrestleMania. I'd literally be shocked if that was the case, but I don't think so. So it could be, it could be that it was just a glitch on WWE's end because they haven't said anything about it. So we have the Universal Championship match, Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. Obviously, I'm predicting Roman Reigns to win. I wouldn't mind Daniel Bryan winning, walking into WrestleMania to make it this Roman versus Daniel Bryan versus Edge for the title. And then we see Edge win or Roman win, whatever. I'm okay with either one winning. I just don't think right now Roman's losing that title. I mean, it doesn't make it. He's too strong. He's too strong. And if we know WWE booking, we know Roman's leaving tonight as a champion. But ultimately, the Rated R superstar is leaving tonight standing tall over both men, is what I think we're going to be seeing. So yeah, that's the card for WWE FastLane 2021. I'm going to start from the bottom again. If you are just tuning in, this is the Angle Podcast prediction and preview show for WWE FastLane 2021. I'm your host, Joey Karni. If you haven't already, like and subscribe down below. And I'm going to, like I just said, go over from top to bottom every match and who I think is going to win. Excuse me. So we have the United States Championship match between Riddle and Mustafa Ali. I'm predicting that we're going to get a Riddle win. He's going to retain over Mustafa Ali. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins. I think we're going to see tonight the return of Cesaro, and that causing Shinsuke Nakamura to get the win over Seth Rollins, leading to Seth Rollins versus Cesaro at WrestleMania 37. We have Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton, the first intergender, the first man versus woman wrestling match on pay-per-view since 2003, the last time being No Mercy 2003, where Vince McMahon basically choked out his own daughter, Stephanie McMahon. We have Alexa Bliss taking on Randy Orton, and by far, I think Randy Orton is going to get the win in this match. We have the Intercontinental Championship match, the most, I guess, prestigious. We've seen the Intercontinental Championship in a long, long time. Big E will be defending against Apollo Crews. I think tonight we are going to have Apollo Crews become the new Intercontinental Champion heading into WrestleMania. Maybe we see Big E get a win at WrestleMania in front of fans, but who knows? Tonight I see Tonight I see Apollo Crews becoming the new Intercontinental Champion. We have the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending against the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks and the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble winner Bianca Belair. I think tonight is the night we finally see. It's the last stop before WrestleMania. This is FastLane 2021. Sasha Banks is going to turn heel on Bianca Belair, costing in the match. Winners and still Women's Tag Team Champions, like I'm predicting, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. We have a huge, huge match. Brutal match. It's going to be one hell of a classic match between these two. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. Huge implications, I believe, for WrestleMania. If Sheamus can get the win here, he will very much deserves to be added to the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. But if we know anything, we know Drew McIntyre is on a warpath back to the WWE title. He'll probably get the win if we're looking at WWE booking. I'm predicting a Sheamus win because I want to see Sheamus added to this match to create a triple threat match for WrestleMania. That being Bobby Lashley defending his WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre and the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. Now, the main event of tonight is for the Universal Heavyweight Championship. It is the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, the top of the food chain in WWE, defending his title against Daniel Bryan. Someone who's supposedly the 2021 Hall of Fame inductee, which I doubt that's going to happen right now. And I think that we're gonna get a Roman win with the special enforcer Edge. I think the reasoning for this is to see how these three mesh together in a triple threat setting, because I think this match is ultimately going to become a triple threat match at WrestleMania for the WWE Universal Championship. Now, what's funny about this is that this is exactly what happened at WrestleMania 30 in 2014. The main event of WrestleMania was supposed to be the returning Batista winning the Royal Rumble, going on to face Randy Orton for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then Daniel Bryan got involved, beating Triple H that same night, going on, being added to the main event, and ultimately becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Champion in the main event of WrestleMania 30. Very similar situation is happening here. Edge returns, wins the Royal Rumble, is now going on to face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. But Daniel Bryan gets himself added again, so deserving to be in this match. and I think that's what we're going to get at WrestleMania. A triple threat match for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. But tonight is the night for the Tribal Chief. Roman Reigns will be getting a win, I'm predicting, over Daniel Bryan. But ultimately, it will be Edge standing tall, doing his iconic Rated R Superstar pose over both guys, both men, holding up the Universal Championship, saying, guess what, MFers, I'm back, and at WrestleMania, I'm becoming the new Universal Champion. Great match tonight, a great card tonight. I'm excited to see it all play out. We are a few hours away from WWE FastLane 2021. It is the last stop on the road to WrestleMania. As you can see behind me, there's a huge street sign. We're on the road to WrestleMania. There's a lot of stuff happening tonight. We are 15 minutes away from the return of NWA Power, back for the Attack, live on Fight TV and pay-per-view. So I'm going to go watch that. But until then, or after that, we're going to have WWE FastLane. I can't even say on the WWE Network. It is the first official WWE pay-per-view, the debut of WWE on Peacock. And that's going to be really funny to hear Michael Cole say every week, we're going to be on Peacock! How he always adds his emphasis to everything. But yeah, the first WWE pay-per-view to officially be live on Peacock. I'm kind of predicting that we're going to have, since this is a prediction show, I'm kind of predicting we're going to have some glitches. So don't freak out if that's what happens. There's I remember when WWE Network first debuted in 2014, there was some mix-up and mishaps and whatnot. But they'll be in a groove of it. Everything will be fine. We're on the road to WrestleMania, a few short weeks away. And tonight, like I said, stacked card, stacked roster. WWE doing phenomenal things with this event. I kind of lost hope for a minute there because no matches were added to the card, and it was getting a little scary going into WrestleMania having no matches nearly 3 to 4 weeks away from the pay-per-view. So I'm excited to be where we are today. I'm excited for this card. I'm excited for the return of NWA Power in just 15 minutes on Fight TV, like I said. And then a few short hours after that, WWE FastLane 2021. Live for the first time on Peacock. I like to end the show in a great, great way, as always. It is a great time to be a pro wrestling fan. I hope you are here for the ride. I will be live again after WWE FastLane for a live full review and results show, going over everything that happened at the pay-per-view, all the breaking news, all the stuff that's going in to all the matches that are going to be finally made for WrestleMania. So I will see you then, same place, after Fastlane. Thank you, everyone who's tuned into this show. This is the Angles WWE FastLane 2021 predictions and preview show. I'm your host, Joey Karni. And again, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe down below to stay up to date with all the Angles activity right here on YouTube. I will be live tweeting in 10 minutes now on Twitter for NWA Power, back for the Attack, and then I will be live tweeting for WWE FastLane. You can come chat with me, engage with me. That's at The Angle Radio on Twitter. All the other social media links are there as well. It's at The Angle Radio on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. On TikTok and YouTube, it's at The Angle Podcast. Once again, thank you for tuning in for The Angle Podcast prediction and preview show, Fastlane 2021. I will see you after the pay-per-view. Full results and review show. Full review and results show after WWE Fastlane. The last stop on the road to WrestleMania. We are here, and we're just a few short hours away. I will see you then. Have a good night. Enjoy this wonderful day of pro wrestling. It's always a great time to be a pro wrestling fan.